Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into an idea that's, well, it's huge. It has quite literally shaped human history, sparked countless conflicts, and influenced billions.
You're talking about that really deeply ingrained idea, right? That God and religion were basically inseparable.
Exactly. It's this assumption most of us just, accept. You either take both or you reject both. It's like a package deal.
Yeah, it really is. Something so foundational, yet we rarely pull it apart and examine it.
But what if that's a fundamentally flawed way of looking at it? What if we've been confusing things?
Okay, I like where this is going. How so?
Well, think of it like this. Imagine the vast, boundless ocean. Mysterious, powerful, kind of beyond our full grasp.
Okay, the ocean. Got it.
Now imagine a boat. Maybe lots of different boats, actually. Human-made vessels, right?
Right.
Designed to help us navigate that ocean. They have rules, structures.
Ah, I see. So the ocean is God, and the boat is religion.
Precisely. The ocean is the infinite what, the mystery. The boat is the human-crafted how, the system for approaching it. If you confuse the two, you might just ditch the entire ocean because you saw a crack in one particular boat.
And that's incredibly relevant right now, isn't it? I mean, look at the surveys. There was one recently, 2024, looking at 13 to 25-year-olds.
Oh yeah, I saw that. What was it, like 79%?
Almost 80%, said they feel spiritual, deeply so, but also feel really detached from organized religion. They're sensing that exact split you're talking about. They feel the ocean, but the boats aren't working for them.
Which brings us to our mission for today, Wednesday, July 16, 2025, around 10:25 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to unpack this concept, the unbundling of God and religion.
Sounds good. We'll need to look at the history, how this bundling even happened.
Definitely. The history, the consequences when we do confuse them, and there are big ones, and importantly, what understanding the difference could mean for, well, for you, for how you see things.
Okay, let's start with that history then, because, God wasn't always religion's captive, so to speak.
Yeah. Right. How did early humans relate to the divine or whatever they perceived?
Well, if you go back far enough, it was much more diverse, more fluid. Think animism, seeing spirits in nature, in rocks, rivers, animals, or ancestor veneration. These weren't necessarily tied to big formal institutions.
So more decentralized, more about direct experience with spirits or nature itself.
Exactly. It was often very organic, less about strict dogma handed down from on high, and more about living within a spiritual landscape.
Okay, so when did that start to change? When did God get sort of packaged with religion?
The big shift seems to correlate strongly with the rise of monotheism, the idea of one singular God, and also, interestingly, with the development of agriculture.
Agriculture, how does that connect?
Well, as societies got bigger, more complex, settled down, you needed social order. You needed common rules, ethics, rituals to bind people together.
Ah, okay. So linking a single powerful God to a structured religion provided that framework, a kind of social glue, and maybe control, too.
Precisely. It became a very effective mechanism for creating cohesion, establishing moral codes, organizing large groups of people.
But then the separation, or the idea of separation, started to creep in later.
It did. You can see the seeds, maybe, with Greek philosophy, thinkers like Plato, Aristotle. They started talking about a divine principle, like a prime mover or the form of the good.
More abstract concepts, less tied to specific gods and rituals of the city-state.
Right. Reason started nudging its way in, questioning, analyzing, and then fast forward centuries, the Enlightenment really kicked that into high gear.
Where reason became the primary tool for understanding the world, even more than faith for many.
Exactly. And this is key. It started framing God more as a logical or philosophical concept, maybe something you could reason towards. And religion, increasingly seen as a human construct, a system about God, but not God itself.
There was that piece in the 2025 Journal of Religious Studies making this point, wasn't there? That on July 16, 2025, understanding this history helps liberate belief from dogma.
Yes, precisely. It frames the unbundling not as an attack on faith, but as a clarification separating the divine mystery from the human attempts to grasp it.
Okay, so that's the history. Why does getting this distinction right matter so much today? What happens when we confuse the boat and the ocean?
Oh, the consequences are huge, really significant both for individuals and societies. One of the biggest is what we might call the all or nothing trap.
Explain that. What's the trap?
It's when someone sees flaws in religion, maybe corruption, hypocrisy, rigid or outdated rules, historical violence, and because they equate religion directly with God.
They throw God out, too. They reject the whole concept.
Exactly. They see the leaky boat, the flawed institution, and decide the entire ocean isn't worth exploring, or maybe doesn't even exist.
You hear this a lot, right? People who identify as atheist or agnostic, when you dig deeper, often their critique is really aimed at the institution, the dogma, the history.
Absolutely. It begs the question,
Right.
are they rejecting divinity itself or the flawed human packaging it's often presented in? It's a crucial difference.
And this confusion fuels bigger problems, too, doesn't it? Like conflict.
Tragically, yes, the justification of conflict. When God and a specific religion are seen as identical, it allows human aggression over land, power, ideology to be falsely blamed on the divine.
So wars get fought in God's name, atrocities committed, with the claim that God is on our side against them.
It's a dangerous, deadly conflation, pinning human failings onto the concept of the divine itself.
And what about on a personal level? What's the cost there?
There's what you could call the loss of direct connection. Instead of experiencing genuine spiritual awe, wonder, that connection to something vast, it gets replaced by, well, rule-bound stress.
Like focusing on doing the rituals perfectly, worrying about breaking rules, feeling guilt or anxiety instead
Yeah.
of peace or transcendence.
Exactly. Going through the motions, if your only access to the divine is through the strict rules of one particular boat, it can actually block a more personal, expansive, direct experience of the ocean.
It walls it off, in a
Oh.
way.
It really can. And the research backs this up. That 2025 Pew Research report, it suggested something like 60% of spiritual disillusionment today, July 16th, 2025, stems from this very confusion between flawed institutions and the core spiritual quest. These traps really skew things.
Okay, so if confusing them is problematic, let's get crystal clear on the distinction, the revelation. What is God and what is religion in this unbundled view?
Let's try. God, in this sense, is the what? It's the ultimate reality, the boundless mystery, the infinite source, the ground of being, whatever term resonates. It's fundamentally beyond complete human definition or grasp. The ocean.
Timeless, boundless, maybe even impersonal in some views or deeply personal in others, but ultimately vast.
Yes. And religion. Religion is the how. It's the human response to that what?
The boat.
The boat, exactly. It's the collection of rituals, rules, ethics, communities, stories, texts, all crafted by humans over time, designed to help us navigate towards or understand or connect with that ultimate what.
And just like boats, they come in all shapes and sizes, right?
Absolutely. You've got ancient galleons, maybe representing very traditional paths, modern cruise ships, perhaps more accommodating, community-focused ones, even solo canoes for the more individualistic journey, different vessels, different methods.
But none of them are the ocean. They are ways across the ocean. Paths, not the destination itself.
That's the core distinction, and you see this reflected philosophically, too. That 2025 Philosophy Now article basically said the incredible diversity of religions doesn't show God changing. It shows the diversity of human attempts to connect.
So separating them, especially today, July 16th, 2025, it frees up your spiritual quest, doesn't it? It lets you appreciate the ocean without being wedded to only one kind of boat.
It absolutely does, and understanding that distinction, it really changes everything. It's incredibly empowering.
How so? What does that clarity give someone?
Well, first, freedom and authenticity. You gain the freedom to question religious dogma, to critique the boat, maybe even step off it for a while, without feeling you have to abandon your sense of spiritual wonder, your connection to the ocean.
So your belief becomes a personal journey, guided maybe by inner experience or reason, not just an institutional dictate you have to follow.
Exactly. Your spiritual authority shifts in a way from purely external, the rules, the leaders, to include your intuition, your experience, your conscience. It becomes a dialogue.
That sounds like it would also foster maybe intellectual humility.
Yeah.
And make people more inclusive.
Definitely. If you see other faiths, other religions as just different boats trying to navigate the same vast ocean, you can appreciate their beauty, their wisdom, their methods without feeling like they're inherently wrong just because they're different from yours.
It encourages dialogue instead of division. You see shared goals, maybe even with different approaches.
Precisely. And it allows for genuine spiritual evolution. Your own understanding can grow, change, deepen over your lifetime. You're not locked into ancient interpretations if they no longer resonate.
Your connection can be living, breathing, adapting with you.
Yes. And this isn't just theoretical. People are actively seeking this kind of flexibility. That 2025 Spiritual Trends survey showed, 55% of young adults want this adaptability in their spiritual lives. It's a real need.
So making this distinction isn't just an intellectual exercise. It can genuinely reshape your inner life, your relationships, maybe even how you view the world. Especially now, July 16, 2025, at 10:05 a.m. EDT, it feels very current.
It really does, and we see this playing out in people's lives.
Let's talk about some of those stories. Like Sarah, I think she was 28. There was a case study about her.
Yeah, Sarah. Grew up very religious, but really struggled with some doctrines that felt, rigid, exclusionary, instead of just leaving everything behind.
She didn't throw out the ocean.
Right. She realized she could keep her deep sense of the divine, her connection to that ocean, but find it through other means: meditation, nature, exploring wisdom from different traditions. She found peace beyond the original boat.
And then there was John, 35. What was his approach?
He's interesting because he blends things. He uses Buddhist mindfulness practices alongside his Christian upbringing. He doesn't really care about the rigid labels.
He's building his own hybrid boat, maybe? Taking pieces that work for him?
Sort of, yeah. He's crafting his own path towards the ocean using tools from different toolkits. And this isn't uncommon anymore.
No, that Psychology Today poll from 2025 found like 40% of spiritual seekers are consciously mixing traditions now. It's becoming a significant trend, this personal curation of belief and practice, right here on July 16th, 2025.
Absolutely. And society itself is adapting. Look at the rise in interfaith dialogues. That Council on American Islamic Relations report noted a 30% increase since 2020.
That kind of dialogue is much easier if you can separate the underlying spiritual search from these specific religious forms, right?
Exactly. You can find common ground. And then there's the whole secular spirituality movement.
Meditation apps, mindfulness courses.
Huge. Mindful Living reported 20 million new users on major meditation apps just recently in 2025. People seeking inner peace, connection, meaning often completely outside traditional religious structures.
No, of course, not everyone embraces this.
No, definitely not. There's resistance. Some traditionalists worry this unbundling leads to a loss of faith, a watering down of specific truths or community bonds. And those concerns about community are valid. It's a real human need.
So it's a cultural pivot happening right now, July 16th, 2025. Trying to find a balance maybe between that personal spiritual freedom and our need for roots, for community.
That seems to be the tension, yes, finding that balance.
So let's wrap this up. Our deep dive today really circles back to one core insight, doesn't it?
I think so. God or the divine, the ultimate reality is the eternal question, the boundless ocean. Religion is a human response.
A human-crafted boat, a cultural guide, a specific method, but not the infinite reality itself.
Right. The distinction isn't about conflict, really. It's about perspective. God is the what. Religion is one version of how.
And pursuing that infinite what, that deeper reality, maybe that's the most profound journey we can take. Whether we use a traditional religious boat, build our own, or even just swim freely in the ocean, so to speak.
That feels like a good place to leave it. The path is ultimately personal.
It really is.
Yeah.
And this journey of clarity, of freedom, it's yours to explore. We'd genuinely love to hear what you think about all this. Do you agree with this unbundling idea? Does it resonate with your own experience, or do you disagree?
Yeah, share your thoughts, your journey, maybe your own disconnect or connection with organized religion. Let us know in the comments below.
Absolutely. And hey, if you found this deep dive insightful and want more conversations that explore life's big questions, make sure you visit Mind Expansion Daily. You'll find great information there, just like this.
Definitely check it out. And please like this discussion and subscribe to Mind Expansion Daily for our weekly explorations.
We really appreciate you tuning in. Let us know in those comments, agree or disagree. We want to hear from you.